Considering how easy it is to make power out of the Ford Barra engine, Scott, it makes total sense that you'd get an all-wheel drive version, yeah?
Yeah, it definitely was. Been a big fan of the Territories, big thing growing up and stuff. Dad used to have a lot of the turbo Territories. Got one, wanted the facelift, velvet colour. Unfortunately, the clear coat was optional. Wanted to have a bit of fun with the Barra, the turbo Barra, and just do some bolt-ons and stuff.
This is a Ghia model though.
Yeah. So
factory all-wheel drive
seven-seater and factory all-wheel drive.
Factory turbo. This is a factory turbo Ghia though.
Yeah. Yes. So it's not too bad. The 2009, so got the thicker rods and stuff. So we thought we may as well have a bit of fun with it.
This looks like it's done a few Ks.
Yeah. So 330,000 Ks on it. It's on and off daily drive, depending on fuel prices. But on E85, basic bolt-ons makes 350 kilowatts at all four wheels, and it's still nice to drive, and the power's great. Unfortunately, decided to put an external gate on it, thinking it was cool. Drove it for a week, realised bit of a mistake.
Hey, at least he admits his mistakes, and screamers don't belong on Barras.
It's fun when you're on it, but I mean, you just got to be really careful with it, unfortunately. But
did you buy it stock?
Yeah, bought it stock. Spent a little bit of time fixing some stuff on it, and then started doing some mods at the same time. And the boys at Max Performance have been really good to help out with whatever they've done. They did the tuning and anything I couldn't do in the garage.
I know the Fords and the Barras inside out, don't they?
Yeah. They're just XR6 turbos and big Barras all the time.
I know you've got the optional clear coat on this, but I don't mind the colour. You don't see that many of them.
No, it was great because it was a the later model came out in the velvet, so it was very common on the G6Es and stuff. And I really love that colour. And
how's the gearbox going?
The gearbox is surviving. I haven't had any slipping or anything. So Max Performance do a external cooler kit for them with a fan and everything under the car. So we got rid of the heat exchanger. About 3 weeks afterwards, I started losing coolant. I'm thinking, oh, here we go, I've done a head gasket or something. But no, there's no coolant anywhere. And I've jacked up the one side of the car and all this water's come out of the oil side of the heat exchanger. Oh. It failed just after we did it. So I got really lucky on that one. It could have been costed trying to replace the gearbox. But
hey, that's a true cold air intake. Above the turbocharger, but look there, perfect.
We had the battery in there. So we've only just recently moved it, and I haven't had it changed yet. But Plasma Man kit kind of comes up on the other side, so you can't put the battery on the other side. So we've put it behind the fog light. Just a matter of getting that redone to move it.
For those that don't know, these actually have a top mount air-to-air intercooler, although it's pretty rare to actually see one still on a Territory, isn't it?
Yeah. They were real big heaters. That's
not really much of a scoop, is it? For
No. And then most of it, the intercooler just sits over the exhaust. They have a plate under it, but it's still just cooks. I mean, it's great on a Subaru having the exhaust underneath, but I think it was a bit of a...
Well, it was a bit of a last-minute decision, wasn't it? Yeah, that's what it sort of looks like. Yeah, it's a no-brainer to put a front mount on it.
The big difference with intake temps to go to the front mount, the Plasma Man kit is really good. Very impressed with it, and like to be able to go for a drive, and the whole intake manifold is just ambient intake temp. It didn't even need to be warm outside. It just, the second you're sitting in traffic, you could definitely know it was a bit of a slug.
What turbo's on?
So it's just got the Pulsar version of the stock size, so just like the GTX 3582. Didn't want to do
good street response.
Yeah. We were doing the external gate kit at the same time. It takes the ease off, like just boosting a bit higher. I think we're running about 19 pound, and I don't think the stock turbo would have appreciated that long term. Thought about putting an LSD in the back, but I don't have any issues with traction. I think the only issue is it lifts the front, and I have a little bit of front wheel spin. But There's been forum posts about someone trying to do an LSD for the front, but I've never really seen someone successfully do it. So
yeah, I mean, when you really have a good look at one, they're not very big. So
no.
I think you're smart leaving it at this power level.
Yeah. I think this is the end of the snowballing. I think I want to kind of stop here before go any further. Then you just ending up built gearbox and built motor and.
Well, like you said, it's done 330,000 Ks.
Yeah.
So power aside, I mean, that's a lot of kilometres. There's a wear and tear on everything.
Yeah. I definitely hate to see what the inside of the motor was, and I know it wasn't really. It's had a bit of a hard life before I had it, and
sounds like an RB.
When we did the timing chains, valve springs, and head studs, the boys at Max Performance had kind of came out with the stuff that came off it and looking nice and varnished. It's been tuned and stuff over 300 kilowatts for probably almost close to 50,000 Ks now, and I'm not too hard on it, not too easy on it either.
Hey, to show this is a true daily driver, Scott's got some car parts in the back, as you do. What's going on here, mate?
So I bought an XR8 with a dud motor. Someone was selling a set of 290 Boss heads, so we've picked them up recently and
beautiful.
Haven't had a chance to take them out of the car yet, but
yeah, what is going on with your drivers?
Took the foams and the frame out of this because I replaced them with brand new ones, and the Turbo Territories have got XR tops.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, if they've got XR tops, they've got XR bottoms. So bought the XR foams brand new.
Yep.
Went to put the leathers back on, and it turns out the bottoms are just standard.
Oh.
So the leather was just loosely on there for a long time, and I've bought the XR8, and I can finally put a brand new foam in the XR8. Turns out the frame was broken on the seat, so I've taken it all out of this to put in the XR8, and haven't had a chance to replace this yet. It is a lot of fun to drive, and I think the having the all-wheel drive and just grip, it just it can be damp out there, and to still be able to boost it without having to worry about the rear end coming out is quite nice.
Good traffic light warrior, these things. Be truthful. How many litres per 100 would it do around town? Because every time I ask this to a Barra owner, they'll go, I'll get 1,000 Ks a tank. I'm like, no. What does that mean? What does that mean? Is it 2 litres a tank? Is it 200 litres? You know what I mean? The most vaguest figures ever.
It's pretty bad on ethanol.
Yeah.
It's a heavy car. It's almost 2.5 ton all drive. I completely understand that. About 35 litres about 350 Ks to 75 litres of fuel. So it's thirsty. It's a bit better on 98, not by much, but it is thirsty.
Is this flex, or do you have to run 2 different tunes in it?
I've got the 2 different tunes.
Yeah.
So it's running the PCM tech.
Yes.
So we can just change it on the steering wheel, which is great. I've ran it on 98 once since, but I think it just runs better on the ethanol. And just left it on the ethanol.
The engine's happier, isn't it?
I do find that, and I find the safety of ethanol is great too.
Have you ever taken it to the track at all?
I've been wanting to. A bit worried about snapping stuff.
That's fair enough. Yeah.
Now that Calder are doing their fast Fridays and stuff, I've definitely been wanting to head down there at some stage and see what it does down the quarter. I think anything, over 140, 150 Ks an hour, I just kind of, you feel it just bricking in the air.